Hi, I'm LuckGod. This is my first War Machine battle report. It will be Blaize versus pKreoss. I've given myself the challenge to play and paint Blaize's theme force throughout the month, and this is the first battle. So this is my deployment. I've located my jacks centrally, the Centurion and Gallant, with Journeyman Warcaster, Runewood and Blaize behind them. 2 units of max Sword Knights either side, and then flanking those 2 max units of Precursor Knights, both with UAs. Being allowed a second UA is one of the tier benefits. My opponent is running pKreoss with Adjudicator, Redeemer, Reckoner in his battle group. He's also running the Choir, Exemplar Errants with the UA, Visigoth Rovan and the Exemplar Bodyguards, 2 Vassals of Menoth, a Knight Exemplar Errant Seneschal, and some Racks. So, Signar turn 1, all my stuff runs up nearly. The units of Sword Knights and Precursor Knights both get +2 speed from the tier, so they zip up really quick. I spread out the Precursors because they can't benefit from shield wall, and I clump up the Sword Knights to benefit from defensive line. 1 point of focus goes on the Centurion to run, Gallant generates 1 from the accumulator. Arcane Shield goes on Blaize, and she just runs, casts no spells. I forgot to take a picture for Menoth turn 1. The Adjudicator ran up and got a ancillary attack from one of the vassals and shot into and killed some Sword Knights. The Errants moved up and shot and killed some more Sword Knights. In the end of the turn, I think they killed 8 of the unit of 10 Sword Knights. Other than that, Defender's Ward went up on the Errants and everything else just advanced. Signar turn 2. The 2 remaining Sword Knights charged into the Errants and failed to hit. The 2 units of Precursor Knights both received the Shield Wall order and advanced. The Centurion walked forward and used Polarity Shield, staying out of threat range, and Gallant guard dogged to make sure Runewood had a sack target for ranged attacks. Blaize camped all her focus with Arcane Shield on from the Journeyman and stood in a position where she covered all but the right hand unit of Precursor Knights in her control area and popped her feet. So during Menoth turn 2, Kreoss advanced and popped his feet, knocking down the majority of my army. The unit of Sword Knights you can see on the top of the right of the screen, the first 2 clumps nearest the hedge were both knocked down. Gallant and the Centurion were knocked down. All of the Precursor Knights except for the Standard Bearer at the back were knocked down. Blaize luckily managed to avoid being knocked down by about half an inch. So with the Signar army being knocked down, the Reckoner assaulted Runewood, being able to see through Gallant now being knocked down, and luckily he sack-pawned that to Gallant, who obviously was directly hit being knocked down and was set on fire, but only suffered 1 point of damage, so that wasn't too bad. The Errants received a charge order and charged in and killed a few of the Precursors, but with my feet being up, every time he killed a model, I collected a soul, the armour went up and they become harder and harder to kill. By the end of the turn, he'd killed 7 of my warrior models. 1 was from the Reckoner with an ancillary attack onto a Sword Knight across the hedge. Being knocked down, it made it very easy for him to hit, but my feet made it quite difficult to kill by the end of the turn. Signar turn 3. This had to be my counter-attack turn. I'd taken quite a bit of a beating on the left-hand side, and now Constance Blaize was loaded up with 7 souls, which turned into focus, so she was sitting at focus 13, which is pretty good. She allocated 3 to the Centurion, 2 to Gallant, and kept 8 for herself. Journeyman kept Arcane Shield on her because why not? The Precursor Knights charged and used their mini feat, so they got an additional dice of damage, and 3 of them managed to get in on the Judicator and did some fairly decent damage to it, and a few more killed some errants. Their blessed weapons ignoring the Defender's Ward, which was nice. The Centurion walked in to the Judicator and hit it a few times, did some fairly decent damage, but left it with about 2/3 of one side still operational. And Gallant moved in and attacked the Reckoner and did a fair amount of damage, but spread across all the columns, so it didn't take any systems out. Sword Knights moved in and tried to do a bit more damage, but didn't manage to achieve much. And at the end of the turn, Constance Blaize ran to base with the flag, and the Precursor Knights charged the objective and destroyed it, scoring me 3 control points. Oh, I forgot to mention, Runewood walked forward and used Reveille to stand up my army after pKreoss's knockdown feat. That's kind of important, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to get any charges off. Men off turn 3. The Errants continued to kill Precursor Knights. Judicator received some focus and smashed the Centurion into the dust with some fairly decent rolls. The Vassal walked up, ancillary attacked the Reckoner so it could kill a Sword Knight that was in that would have given a free strike, and then the Reckoner trampled over to Constance Blaize, bought an attack, boosted to hit and damage, and managed to do 4 points of damage to her and contest the zone. Signar turn 4 with 3 control points and only the Reckoner stopping me from scoring again. I figured all I had to do was kill the Reckoner to win, but I wanted to have a bit of fun and see what else the army was capable of. So Gallant walked forward, finished off the Judicator, and Runewood gave Pathfinder to the Sword Knights who charged pKreoss. Managed to do about 7 or 8 damage to him, but it was fairly hard for them to hit him with only mat 6. One mistake I did make was I moved Harlan Versh up to try and take shots at him. pKreoss with Defender's Ward, it would have been giving me 3 dice to hit and damage for Purgation, but I moved just within the reach of one of the Visigoth bodyguards, and he was unable to shoot, which was unfortunate. So pKreoss gets to live, the Precursor Knights charge and kill the Reckoner, and I score my final 2 control points to bring it to a Signar victory. So I hope you enjoyed my first battle report. I'll try and put as many as I can out during the month of May for my Morrow for May challenge. Have a good day and be lucky.